Welcome back, grade 7, to your first lesson in term 3 of music. This is your last term in grade 7, so let's make it good. Let's make an actual song by the end of this. This time we're going to be using Chrome Music Lab all the way through, and we're going to be focusing on some of the really fundamental aspects to making a song. So that by the end of it all, you'd be able to understand how to make an actual song, and you'd even have the sort of mindset a producer has. So if you actually go on to more professional things like Logic Pro or Ableton or GarageBand, you'd be able to make an actual song. So don't brush any of this off. This is really important and will make you an absolutely better musician. So first things first, go and open Chrome Music Lab. I'm giving you 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That was 5 seconds. And now, for today's lesson, we're going to start off by creating a bass line. So in music, the two fundamental instruments that are really needed to make a nice tight groove are the bass and the drummer. So what I want you to do is we're going to go to settings and we're going to go to range, okay? Now it'll say 2 octaves, but I want you to click this plus over here, right there, and you'll get 3 octaves, then click the tick. So what that does now is it gives us an extra higher part. So look, if you notice, we have this do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. So we have a do here, and a do up there. So 3 do's, that's 3 octaves, okay? And that's going to be really useful because a bass guitar, it's in the name. He holds the bass. So what do we say the bass is? The bass is the lowest part of any part of an instrument. So for example, if you have singers, you have bass, tenor, alto, soprano. The bass have the deeper notes. The soprano have the higher notes, and they talk like this, and so on. So we need to have all those octaves so we can really separate our bass from our middle section, which would be like our chords, and to the melody, which will be the highest section. So last time we learned how to make our chords, and then we use the melody on top. But the bass line is going to be in the lower part all the time, for now, okay? For now. So let's start off by creating our drum beat. So I'm going to use a basic hip hop beat. And like we said, each of these columns is a beat, yeah? So whatever you have, and all 4 of them make a bar. So whatever you have in the same bar, make sure it's exactly the same in all of the bars, otherwise it'll be messed up. So in my first beat, I have the bass right there. In my second beat, I have the snare there. In my third beat, and look at that, I have it on the second line right there. Then on my fourth beat, I have my snare right there. All right, and I'll just do that the same for all of them. So you have to be very accurate. Don't skip on this. Don't move too quickly because many of you made mistakes before that could have easily been avoided if you just paid a bit more attention. So let's see how that sounds. Let me first take it to 90, make it a bit slower. Yeah, that's cool. That's a good hip hop beat. Let's see if it's all right all the way through. Listen to it one time. All right, cool. So that's our drummer. Now we need to add our second element, which is our bass. So what we're going to do for our bass line is, notice how we have 3 different sections, and they're divided by these blue lines. So this is our first section, this is our second section, this is our third section. So our first section is going to be our first octave, second section, second octave, third section, third octave, okay? So our bass line is only going to be in the first octave. So what we're going to do is, we want them to try and be kind of tight. We want the drummer and the bassist to be a bit tight. So what we're going to do is, anytime you have a kick, I need there to be a note. Okay? Anytime there's a kick, there needs to be a note. You can put notes anywhere on that low octave, but where there is a kick, there has to be a note. Okay? So for example, I'm going to start off over here. So where that kick is, right there. And let's put something else somewhere here. So then again. So notice how wherever my kick is for the drummer, I'm putting a note. There has to be something there, okay? Just to make it nice and tight. Then over here, I'm going to go to da, 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 da. Alright, so that should be da, do. Alright, let's see how that sounds so far. Alright, so I'm going to put this here. Let's see how it sounds. Yeah, so I'm going to use a repetitive pattern. So right there, where's my snare? There it is. I'm going to put that over there again. Doom. So it doesn't have to follow the snare. The notes don't have to follow the snare, but they have to follow the kick. So that's the circular ones, okay? The circular ones at the bottom. Let's keep going. Da, dun, da, dun, da, dun, da, dun, da, dun. I'm going to copy what I had in the other one. Oh, this should be here. I'm going to go back here. 1, 2. All right, so notice how above each circular thing I have at least a note. Doesn't matter, you don't have to copy me, you just have to have a note, any note that you like. Yeah, that's cool. So that's the main thing, okay? Super simple, just have a note right above that. Now, once we have that, what we're going to do is we're going to go to our second octave right here. So first of all, save that and put it and get the URL. So that means save here. Get that, post it directly onto Teams. So I've actually learned, for many of you already been doing it, you can post it directly onto Teams. You don't have to put it on a Microsoft Word sheet. Just copy paste it, go to Teams, post it right there where it's needed. And now you're going to go to your second octave over here and you're going to build some chords, okay? So how are we going to do this? All I want you to do is make sure it's in the second octave, and same concept we did before, make sure there's a neighbor. So don't get confused by this blue line. This is where I'm starting off, this red note over here, okay? So I'm not focusing on the bass line, I'm focusing on where the second octave is. So the way we want to make it sound good is we make sure there's a space between each neighbor, right there. And we said when we're making chords, we have to make sure they're 3 and there's a space between each note. So there, ja, ja. So then I'm going to just copy that wherever that note is above the kick. I'm just going to put a melody thing, a chord. Then over here, then so let me use the same chord right there. There's no shame in that. Then over here, let's build it off from. I'm going to let it creep into that third octave right there. And then, let's see. Yeah. Then over here, I'm just going to take it back down to where it was before. So there we go. I have some chords right there over where the kick was for the drummer. For each side, here, 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 here. Let's see how it sounds when the chords and the bass line and the drums come together. Let me do that again. We'll pause for a second. That sounds cool. My speakers sound like they're blowing up, but the song itself sounds pretty alright. Yeah, so just like that. So we've put 3 very important aspects together. We have our drummer, who's maintaining the same beat throughout every bar. We have our bassist, who's getting the low notes. And we have our pianist or our guitarist, who is up in the second octave, okay? So that's all I want to see from you. Let's have a bass, let's have that drummer, the bass, and the chords. So after you make your bass line, copy and put it onto Microsoft Teams. And then once you have your chords, save it and post it onto Teams. I'm super excited to see what you guys come with. You were so creative last time. You did such awesome work. So yeah, save it up, do it well, and put your best into it, okay? And I'll see you next week. Bye for now.